Did you know that one of America's most innovative tech CEOs once huddled under a Chicago bridge during a brutal winter storm in 2010, his only blanket a torn cardboard box, wondering if he'd freeze to death before dawn? That's the raw truth about Alex Thompson, a young black man from the South Side who stared down the barrel of oblivion at just 22. With frostbite nipping at his fingers and the wind howling like a beast, Alex's stakes couldn't have been higher: survive the night or become another statistic in the city's forgotten underbelly. He'd lost everything: his job, his home, his hope clinging to a backpack with $40 and a few crumpled receipts. Growing up in a cramped apartment where the L train's rumble shook the walls, Alex watched his single mom slave away on double shifts at a greasy diner for minimum wage, while his dad had bolted years earlier, leaving a void filled with unpaid bills. By his junior year, Alex ditched high school, convinced the system was rigged against guys like him. Why chase diplomas when the streets taught harder lessons? He hustled whatever came his way, washing cars for $5 a pop in parking lots, stocking shelves at corner stores until midnight, dodging eviction notices that arrived like clockwork. But that layoff from the warehouse gig shattered his fragile grip, turning couch surfing into full-blown homelessness by Christmas. Meals scavenged from fast food dumpsters, nights in alleyways where rats scurried closer than friends, the shame burned hotter than any fire he couldn't start. Yet, as the snow piled up around him that fateful night, a faint spark flickered. Could this be the end, or just the brutal beginning of something unbreakable? Alex's days melted into a relentless grind of survival, each one a mirror of the American dream gone sour. He'd wake before sunrise, his breath visible in the icy air, and trudge 5 miles through slushy streets to the public library on Michigan Avenue, the sanctuary, with free heat and flickering computer screens. There, he'd plug in his battered phone and scour job sites, firing off applications to anything that didn't demand a degree. But the rejections poured in like spam. Over 50 in the first month alone, each one a digital slap, reminding him he was underqualified. He tried busking on bustling sidewalks, strumming a loaned guitar for spare change. But even that barely covered a lukewarm coffee from a nearby McDonald's. Deep inside, Alex harbored a poisonous belief: success was reserved for the privileged, those born with connections in high-rises, not for a poor kid from the wrong neighborhood. The system, he thought, was designed to keep him down racial biases in hiring, economic traps that swallowed whole families. He'd seen it in his mom's weary eyes, after 12-hour shifts, earning just enough to cover the $800 rent on their tiny place, but never to climb out. As spring thawed the city in 2011, Alex snagged a temp gig delivering packages by bike, weaving through chaotic traffic on Lakeshore Drive for $8 an hour plus tips. It felt like a lifeline, pedaling 12 hours straight, legs burning, until one rainy April afternoon, a hit-and-run driver clipped him hard. He slammed into the pavement, his leg fracturing in 3 places, pain exploding like fireworks. Without insurance, the hospital bills ballooned to $15,000, a mountain he couldn't scale. Discharged with crutches and a cast, he limped back to the streets, his world shrinking to survival basics. Friends' doors stayed shut now, and the shame deepened. But then came the betrayal that nearly broke him. A so-called buddy pitched a quick flip scheme selling knockoff watches online. Alex scraped together $300 from odd jobs and handed it over, only for the guy to ghost, leaving him penniless and furious. Despair clawed in. He skipped library days, curling up in abandoned lots under the summer sun, questioning if fighting was futile. As heat waves baked Chicago's concrete in July 2011, a chance over here in the library's cool air hinted at escape, but could one stranger's words really rewrite his fate? The challenges mounted like storm clouds, each one darker and more relentless than the last. Fresh from the scam, Alex's trust shattered. He drifted further into isolation, his legs still throbbing from the accident. By mid-2011, he was back on crutches, navigating the city's underbelly with a backpack that grew heavier with regret. The first major hurdle had been the endless job rejections, but now, with medical debt looming like a guillotine, he forced himself into action. He landed sporadic gigs washing dishes at a dive bar for cash under the table, but the pain in his leg flared during long stands, forcing him to quit after weeks. Rejection emails kept coming, now over 100 total, each one chipping away at his resolve. The second obstacle hit harder, trying to rebuild physically while homeless. Winter's return in late 2011 brought blizzards that closed shelters early, leaving him to huddle in doorways, reciting survival mantras to stay sane. His belief in a rigged world solidified. Why push when every effort boomeranged? Then came the third blow, the deepest yet. In early 2013, after scraping enough for a room in a halfway house at $400 a month, Alex poured his soul into his first big coding project, an app called StreetSmart, meant to link the homeless with resources. He'd coded 1,200 hours by then, fingers calloused from library keyboards. But the beta launch in January 2014 flopped spectacularly. Only 50 downloads in the first week. Glitches erasing data left and right. Investors in Chicago's tech scene dismissed him. One even laughed during a pitch, calling his idea pipe dream for the streets. Eviction loomed again, rent unpaid, forcing him into night shifts at Walmart from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m., stocking shelves with bleary eyes before coding in stolen daylight hours. This was his darkest failure, a pit where doubt screamed loudest, curled in his cramped room, staring at a cracked ceiling. Alex wept, wondering if he'd forever be trapped in this cycle of loss. Exhaustion blurred days into nights. He skipped meals, lost weight, and nearly gave up the keyboard for good. But as spring 2013 bloomed, a faint pull drew him back to the library. Could persistence crack the uncrackable, or was surrender his only out? Alex's journey of grit began in earnest after that pivotal summer day, a testament to raw determination amid the chaos. Starting the 1st of August 2011, he locked into a grueling routine. Arriving at the library by 9 a.m., he'd claim a computer station and dive into free online courses, starting with HTML basics that felt like deciphering alien script. Mornings blurred into tutorials on CSS and JavaScript, his fingers stumbling over keys. But he pushed on, logging 10 hours daily despite hunger pangs. He'd fuel up on peanut butter sandwiches from a nearby shelter kitchen, rationing them to maintain focus. Failures peppered the path like potholes. His first simple app, a to-do list, crashed over 50 times before running smoothly. Each bug a fresh frustration that tempted him to quit. By the second month, he'd built and scrapped 3 prototypes, doubts whispering he was fooling himself, a homeless guy dreaming of tech stardom. To build stamina, he'd jog 3 miles at dawn, even as his leg healed unevenly. The ache, a constant reminder of fragility. Evenings found him under flickering streetlights, notebook in hand, reviewing code snippets by flashlight. Winter's bite returned in December 2011, forcing him to type in gloves, fingers numb, but he adapted, memorizing algorithms during blizzards when the library shuttered early. Freelance applications on Upwork yielded over 100 rejections by spring 2012, each no a gut punch, yet he refined his portfolio, adding features like user logins that took weeks to debug. Small wins emerged. His first paid gig in late 2012, $200 for a basic website, tucked into a sock for safekeeping. By mid-2013, stable enough for that halfway house room, he quit delivery work entirely, channeling all energy into coding. Habits solidified daily challenges from sites like LeetCode, reading tech blogs during breaks, attending free meetups in the Loop, where he networked awkwardly but earnestly. As 2014 approached, his skills sharpened, but the big test loomed. Could StreetSmart rise from its ashes, or would this effort crumble like the rest? It all shifted on that sweltering July day in 2011, when Alex, seeking refuge from the heat, slumped into a library chair and overheard a cluster of coders buzzing about free resources. An older man, Mr. Ramirez, a retired engineer with a kind face etched by years, noticed Alex's lingering gaze and slid over. Born in poverty in Mexico, Mr. Ramirez had bootstrapped his way to Silicon Valley success, and he shared it plainly. Immigrating with nothing, learning code in community centers, building a career against odds. "Kid," he said, eyes steady, "you've got that fire. Limits? They're just illusions. Break 'em one line of code at a time." He handed Alex a flyer for Codecademy, urging him to start that instant. The words landed like a thunderclap. For the first time, Alex saw his pain not as a curse but fuel. In that moment, crutches leaning against the desk, he decided, no more drifting. He'd harness this, turn survival into strategy, code his way out. The encounter ignited a firestorm within, but would it burn bright enough to outlast the storms ahead? Transformation didn't come overnight. It unfolded in measured breakthroughs, each earned through sweat and iteration. After the 2014 flop, Alex didn't fold. He dissected the failures, fixing bugs, and adding GPS for real-time shelter alerts. Relaunching StreetSmart in June 2014, a local news feature sparked momentum. 5,000 downloads in the first month, users praising its life-saving maps. By 2015, it hit 50,000 users, pulling in $20,000 from 80 partnerships with food banks. Alex quit Walmart nights, renting a modest Wrigleyville apartment for $900 monthly, his first real home in years. Challenges persisted. A 2016 data breach cost $5,000 to patch, but he pivoted, weaving in AI for personalized job tips, doubling engagement. Hitchhiking 2,000 miles to San Francisco for pitches paid off. By 2017, a $500,000 seed round fueled growth, expanding to 200,000 downloads. He leased an office in the Loop, hiring 10 staffers, many from tough backgrounds like his. Revenue soared to $1 million annually by 2018, clearing old debts and funding $50,000 in shelter donations. Milestones stacked. A 2019 National Innovation Award. A TEDx Chicago talk to thunderous applause. His net worth topped $5 million by 2020. But the true wins were user stories. One man crediting the app for landing a job after years adrift, echoing Alex's path. As the company scaled, whispers of imposter syndrome faded. He'd earned this, code by code. Alex's growth deepened with time, turning hardship into wisdom he eagerly shared. By 2022, StreetSmart served over 1 million users nationwide, branching to New York and Los Angeles with features like mental health chats. He founded a nonprofit wing, offering 500 coding scholarships at $2,000 each to homeless youth, mentoring weekly at the old library. Gratitude anchored him. He'd revisit that Chicago bridge, wind whipping as before, but now it symbolized triumph over trials. "Those limits forged me," he'd tell mentees, voice steady with emotion. His TEDx speech in 2019 drew crowds, and a podcast episode racked up 100,000 listens, floods of emails pouring in from inspired listeners. Alex learned that true success rippled outward, helping others shattered his old beliefs in a rigged world. Married in 2023, building a family in suburban calm, he embodied the change, from doubt to drive, proving persistence paid dividends. Today, at 37, on this September day in 2025, Alex helms a $50 million company, but his richest legacy is the lives transformed. Standing under that familiar bridge, feeling the chill that once nearly claimed him, he smiles at the warmth of purpose. Anyone can shatter their chains, starting small, step by step. What if today marks your turning point? Comment Day 1 if this is the spark for your own unbreakable path.